What if he goes one way, I go the other way?
Just made those in case somebody.
Yeah, because it needs some QR codes.
Want to get the link.
Maybe a little bit of talking, I guess. Okay. Thanks for showing up, guys. Now it's short notice.
Good.
Sure. I'll go out the way.
She is coming though. I think she texted me and said she was coming. Quiet all of a sudden.
They can't get away. Just off.
Good evening. We will call the meeting for Monday, February 6, 2023 to order. We will begin with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the federally recognized Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, the ancestral keepers of the land we are gathered on today. We thank them for their immense contributions to our state and local history, culture, economy, and identity as Washingtonians. Tonight, the meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. will be held in person and virtually. We are going to do things a little bit out of the order that is on your agenda. We are going to start this evening, as you will notice in the back of the room. We have several people in law enforcement with us. Chief, I'm going to call you up to the podium and I'm going to join you.
have. Mark time. Mark. Another guard. Hold. There. Hit. Ready. T. Right. Cut.
If you would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Other guard. Right. Hit. Power. Out. I have. Right. I have. I have. Right. I have.
Thank you. You may be seated. We're going to be doing something very exciting tonight. We are going to be celebrating some of our officers and their promotions, and I will turn it over to Chief Collier.
All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us this evening to this promotion ceremony. This ceremony is intended to present the newest members of our leadership team to the public. It's a way to publicly recognize the dedication of these officers to their family, community, and profession. So first off, I would like to invite Matt Wilkinson and Chris Berger up here. So I'm going to start off with Officer Matt Wilkinson. Matt started his law enforcement career with the City of Auburn in December of 2013. He has primarily been assigned to the Patrol Division. Matt has worked as a field training officer for several years, both full-time and filling in as needed. Matt has been the designated officer in charge numerous times when a sergeant was not available. He has been an executive board member for the Police Guild and helped negotiate 2 labor agreements with the city. Matt will be assigned to the Patrol Division, supervising B-side swing shift. Chris Berger began his career with the Auburn Police Department in July of 2007. Chris has served as a patrol officer, field training officer, defensive tactics instructor, emergency vehicle operations instructor, a taser instructor, an explorer advisor, a crime scene team member, a drone pilot, and a major crimes detective. In February of 2020, Chris was promoted to the rank of sergeant. As a sergeant, he supervised a patrol crew before moving to the Community Programs Unit, where he supervised our bicycle unit, community response team, animal control, our Muckleshoot Indian Tribe officer, and the training and accreditation program. As a commander, Chris will be assigned to the Patrol Division. And gentlemen, if you could raise your right hand, I'm going to deliver the oath of honor. Just repeat after me. Today I pledge my commitment to the Auburn Police Department
to the Auburn Police Department
and to the City of Auburn.
to the City of Auburn.
On my honor,
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I value leadership
I value leadership
and I accept the tremendous responsibility
and accept the tremendous responsibility
that comes with that privilege.
that comes with that privilege.
I will always demonstrate the courage
I will always demonstrate the courage
to hold myself and others accountable.
to hold myself and others accountable.
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
as well as the mission,
as well as the mission,
the guiding principles,
the guiding principles,
and the history of the Auburn Police Department.
and the history of the Auburn Police Department.
In a minute, I'm going to call up the loved ones for the pinning of the badge. The pinning of the badge is a tradition that is a significant one. It is one of the things where we visibly and clearly bring a loved one up to publicly demonstrate their support for their law enforcement officer. This support is essential as our officers can't do this difficult job well without the strong support from family and friends. The badge itself represents the authority granted by our community to law enforcement officers. It is in the shape of a shield, signifying our core responsibility to protect those who cannot protect themselves. So, for Sergeant Matt Wilkinson, I'm going to invite his wife, Shelley, and son up. No, son. And for Commander Berger, I'm going to invite his wife, Brittany, and children. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present the newest members of our leadership team, Sergeant Matthew Wilkinson and Commander Chris Berger.
Making the rounds. So we're going to do some photos. So we are going to take a 10-minute break so that families are able to come up and do photos, some official city photos, and then some that are just family photos. So we will adjourn until 7:18, and then we will be back for a proclamation. All right. You, Jonathan, wherever you want the photos, and whoever you want. We'll figure out what they want to do first. enforcement in both families. I know. Lansing, King County, and there's another one over there by Jonathan. Wow. There's a brother. He's a brother. Okay. Oh, there's two King County then. The one next to Jonathan is King County as well. Oh yeah, you can tell they're
You're related to Matt. Whole family. Who's everybody?
Here, somebody give me a.
Oh, sure.
Anybody else want? I can take one too if anybody else has a phone they want to photo. I'm good. I did it earlier today. Okay.
Everybody squeeze in. Should we get you?
Want to be a family.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that. That's perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Don't move yet. I got one more camera here. Please don't move. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Go down there. All you guys. Yeah, but you're still.
It's Sam's idea.
So Sam's gonna wear this every week.
All of the law enforcement in that family.
There you go, boss.
Three or four?
Oh my gosh. They're all selfies, probably.
We're gonna do one more.
We have time?
Oh, yeah. We got 4 more minutes.
You thought you were getting away without any more photos, huh?
So your first job is
No, we're just gonna take the flags away, so you guys just let us know. You don't want to take pictures.
Kate? Where's Kate?
All right. Yes. All right, we will call the meeting back to order, and before we do the proclamation, Sean, will you please call roll?
Yes, Mayor. Deputy Mayor J. Raj,
I'm here.
Councilmember Baggett,
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Here.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember Malenga,
Here.
Councilmember Rakes,
Here.
Councilmember Trot Manuel.
Here.
Thank you. All right. We are now going to move to our proclamation that we have for this evening, and I would like to call forward Pastor LaShund Lambert and Latricia Kinlow to receive the proclamation. And LaShund and Latricia are part of our Police Advisory Committee, and we really appreciate you being here this evening. And if you have any words to say after I've read the proclamation, you are more than welcome to do so. And I know you will, because I have never known you not to take an opportunity. All right. Mayor's proclamation. Whereas Black History Month is celebrated every February in recognition of achievements by Black Americans and all people of African descent in the United States. Historian and author Dr. Carter G. Woodson created Negro History Week in 1926, and this tradition was expanded in 1976 to Black History Month. And whereas during Black History Month, we maintain that Black history is American history, as we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by Black Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas the City of Auburn acknowledges the long history of forced enslavement and institutional and structural racism towards Black people, and calls our attention to the continued need to battle racism and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals of freedom, justice, and liberty for all. And whereas the City of Auburn's diversity, equity, and inclusion work reflects our commitment to racially just policies and practices that create opportunities for all people to thrive. And whereas the 2023 national theme for the observance is Black Resistance, which exemplifies how Black Americans have fought oppression from America's earliest days, from staging protests, sit-ins, boycotts, walkouts resulting in injury, imprisonment, and death in the struggle for equal employment, housing, education, and voting rights. The resistance lives on into the 21st century. And whereas the City of Auburn is proud to honor the history and contributions of Black Americans in our country and our community, we continue to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all residents, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions and potential contributions to our community. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, Washington, do hereby proclaim February 2023 as Black History Month. Let us all draw inspiration and courage from those who came before us and those who are here now as we continue the work toward full equality and representation in our city. Dated this 6th day of February, 2023. I'll give you the proclamation, and if you would like to say some words.
Madam Mayor, Council, Directors, fellow citizens of this great community, this is a wonderful occasion, but it is a reminder that we still have to think about some things. The fact that we have to have a Black History Month means we're ignored for the other 11. I would encourage us all to remember that the civil rights movement didn't happen because people like to preach and talk in front of large groups. They happened because the oppression had to cease. We're at a time again where the conversations that my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my dad and I are having to explain to my children why we're having the same problems over and over and over and over again. Our history somehow can't get written in black ink in Black History Month. It always seems to be told as a story where our blood must be shed. So as we remember all of the wonderful accomplishments, I'm struck by something that Dr. King is rarely quoted saying. They asked him, what's it like being a civil rights leader? He said, I'm not a civil rights leader. I'm a gospel preacher. Now, the gospel is the good news. Now, you don't have to come to church with me, but for a moment, I need you to hear that freedom can happen, but it happens when we will not tolerate oppression. Freedom can happen when we will not tolerate inequity. Strides, progress are curse words to me. They are excuses for those in authority to sit back and do little, hoping that it pacifies us because you're going to tell the stories of people that'll be forgotten in 3 weeks. So as we talk about Black History Month, and I'm glad that our mayor and the council and these wonderful people are here to talk about a proclamation that we will remember, I'm going to ask you all to remember the next time there's an ordinance that'll keep our people safe. That oppression stops not just when black people feel safer, but when we don't have to be specified as black people, when we can just be people. We celebrate our heritage. We're excited about the wonderful things that people that look like us have done. But I'm praying, I'm asking, near begging, that my children grow up in an environment where we talk about what used to happen instead of a reality that those in authority refuse to change. And I thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Latricia Kinlow, and I'm a resident of Auburn, of the city of Auburn. And I stand before you today asking you to do one thing. On May 23rd of this year, it will be 60 years for Dr. King's letter from Birmingham jail. And if you read it, you would declare that it's happening now. We like to think that we've come a long way. The truth is, we've barely taken a step. So I admonish you, as the council, as the leaders of this community, to read that letter and ask yourself, are we doing the same thing now that was happening then? We thank you for your proclamation, but more importantly, we want to see change. We want to see relevant change. I'm an American. I'm not a black American. I'm just an American citizen. And that's where we need to get to. Stop dividing everyone by the color of our skin and treating us different. Just let us be tax-paying, law-abiding American citizens like everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Thank you for your service to our community. And I agree. I'm looking forward to the day when it is just American history and it is Americans doing what is best for our entire community. Thank you. All right, we will move on with the other business of our meeting this evening. Excuse me. And first are appointments. The first is to the Transportation Advisory Board. City Council to approve the appointment of A.J. Gannison to the Transportation Advisory Committee Bicycling Community Representative position for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2025. Is there a motion? Is there a motion? Is there a motion? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'd like to make the motion to approve A.J., I'm going to kill his last name, Gannison, to the Transportation Advisory Committee that will expire December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Baggett.
I second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
As always, it's really nice to have our volunteers to continue volunteering for positions in our city, and we really appreciate their time and willing to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, all those in favor of the appointment of A.J. Gannison to the Transportation Advisory Committee for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes unanimously. Next is for the Auburn Arts Commission. City Council to approve the appointments of Tracy Taylor Turner and Tracy Galloway to the Auburn Arts Commission for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2025. Is there a motion? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I would like to make a motion.
Your microphone, please.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Tracy Taylor Turner and Tracy Galloway for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. And that's to the Auburn Arts Commission.
For the Auburn.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. I second that motion.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Thank you, Tracy, and both Tracys for stepping forward and taking this opportunity to serve on the Arts Commission, and welcome.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council? All those in favor of the appointment of Tracy Taylor Turner and Tracy Galloway to the Auburn Arts Commission for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve in our community. Do we have any agenda modifications this evening, Sean?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We will move to audience participation. This is a place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council on any issue. The public can participate in person or via written or submit written comments in advance. Participants can submit written comments via mail, fax, or email. All written comments must be received prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting and must be 350 words or less. You may mail written comments to City of Auburn, attention City Clerk Sean Campbell, 25 West Main Street, Auburn, Washington, 98001. You may fax written comments to attention Sean Campbell, City Clerk, at 253-804-3116, or you may email written comments to publiccomment@auburnwa.gov. If an individual requires an accommodation to allow for remote oral comment because of a difficulty attending a meeting of the governing body, the city requests notice of the need for accommodation by 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. Participants can request an accommodation to be able to provide remote oral comment by contacting the city clerk's office in person, by phone at 253-931-3039, or email to publiccomment@auburnwa.gov. Did we have any written comment this evening?
No, Your Honor.
Or anyone that needed accommodations?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will open it up to in-person public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak tonight? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Yes, I'm Ernest Commodore, 34620 4th Place Southwest Federal Way, Washington. What I'm like to talk about tonight is the community center. Now, I went there to take my grandson 4 times, and every time that I go there, the 2 ladies that's operating this facility, they tell me, well, we're closed today. Now, it's a Saturday when all the students are out of school. So the students should be able to use the facility. We pay for that. And I go back another Saturday and say, well, we have a baby shower to take up the whole gym. The baby shower, if you're gonna have a baby shower, you should have it in one of the separate rooms because the students have to use the gym. You don't take that from them. And when they're off on Friday, there was another time I went back, like I said, I went 4 times. They said, well, we're closed today. The schools are closed, so the gym should be open so the students can go in and play basketball if they want to. That's what we pay our tax dollars for, not for it to be closed down. And she make up the excuse on the fly. When I'm there, I said, well, when do they get to play? In the afternoon, they have to do the homework first. And she said, well, we got it open for a couple hours. Well, if they don't do the homework, then, you know, they come play basketball, but they got to get the homework done. And she's making these excuses up. She said, well, you have to contact the city council because that's a question for them. I said, well, you can't operate like this. I didn't pay my tax dollars, nor did any of the other people in this community pay their tax dollars in King County for two of you to operate this the way it's being operated, and that's wrong. She said, well, you have to call and make an appointment because the people who have baby shower and parties, well, they shouldn't be taking this up from the kids because the gym is brand new, the facility is new, and it cannot be used by any of the students because they operate in the way that they want to operate it, and that's not going to stand. And they said, one of them, I called down and they said, well, you have to talk to the mayor. So I'll have a meeting with the mayor if I have to, but this is not going to go down like this because that's just what we're up against right now. The pastor got up and said a while ago, you only celebrate us when it's a certain time of the year. Now, I don't know if they do that just to me or they do that to everybody, but I only can tell you what has been done every time, the 4 times that I went there. So we need to look in on this and make some changes because, like I said, that's a brand new facility, and we pay a lot of money for that, millions of dollars, not to be operated by 2 people. So thank you.
Information, we will get in touch with you.
Thanks.
Right? Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Bob Derrigan. I am 104 South 325th Place in Federal Way. Hi, neighbor. I love it. It's a small world, isn't it? I want to make a personal invitation to everyone to join us on April 29th at the Auburn Mill Pond because we're going to bring youth from all over the state that are special needs youth who will come there and go fishing. And all of this is possible because we have a city here that sees a need to love on these wonderful children. I met with Kevin Whitty this morning or today, and we began our planning on how we're going to just love on these children. And I just was hoping that everyone would be welcome to come. You will be welcome to come and join us. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. Our princess of Auburn will be there, and hopefully our mayor will be there as well as others. So with that, I want to thank the city again for joining the Lions. That is made up of 9 different clubs in our zone, and we will be spending there a wonderful day so the kids could catch the big one.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening? Yes, please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I'm Liam Allen. I live at 2120 62nd Loop, Southeast, Auburn, Washington. I'm a Boy Scout from the local troop 401 here in Auburn. We're following up our invitation from June 6th to celebrate our 100th year troop anniversary. It will be on May 20th from noon to 3 p.m. at the Auburn Community Event Center.
Our troop committee has emailed you all the details and hope you guys can attend.
If you could make sure that you're close to the microphone. You don't need to lean down, but just so we get it on record. Thank you.
Our troop committee has emailed you all the details and hope you can attend. Our troop has appreciated all the support from you, Mr. Backus, and the council over the years. Thank you.
And if you are interested, I have QR codes for the 100-year Facebook page and the ticketing page.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If you would like, you can give those QR codes to our city clerk, and she can ensure that everyone receives a copy of it. Thank you. Great job, young men. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening? Yes, please come forward, name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Linda Redmond, and 18th Street Southeast, 2704, Auburn. And because it is Black History Month, I just wanted to give you a little interesting thing about history, Black history, that a lot of people don't know. And I learned this from somebody who actually tunes into God. So that the first people in South America were from Aboriginal people who went by way of South Africa and then to South America. And there were 2 women still alive. They clashed, the natives clashed, because it was a matriarchal culture, and they had maybe gotten rid of their predators, and so they got pushed to the bottom because they weren't really fighters when the natives clashed with them. And there were 2 women still alive from that original culture. And the guys, the archaeology guys, anthropologists that first contacted them, they got the story out that it was matriarchal by talking to the guys, because there was some ceremony and the women couldn't know what it was. So they said it used to be matriarchal culture. But anyway, so then, and I think we are, National Geographic has said we're all related. So we all come out of Africa, in my mind, and a lot of scientists' mind. But so what I came for was 2 other things I wanted to say. One is, like, it's been coming to my attention since 2009. There's a video, YouTube video, that I'd like people to look at. It has to do with what is this about gluten-free. So you go to Dr. Nathan Thompson under videos, and then go down, and the topic is, what's the deal with gluten-free? And he's a chiropractor and also like a health coach, and he explains it really well. And basically, they've hybridized our bread and put more of this gluten in it. The type of gliadin molecule makes the intestine too permeable, and then things get out. You only want the little amino acids. You don't want the long chain proteins getting out in your bloodstream. So 250 different things can go wrong. That's what my naturopath told me, if you don't know about that. So if we can just educate ourselves, look into it, and then at least we know. When some people know about it who have maybe had health issues and finally went to a naturopath doctor, and there's a certain test they'll do. So it does matter, because like a lot of our homeless people and people that go to the food bank get a lot of bread, and then if we don't put the word out. Okay, so I'll have to talk about the other issue another time. Thanks.
Okay, Dr. Commodore, and it's 109 South Division Street, apartment 300, Auburn, Washington. Apartment's right over there. I didn't plan on speaking, so forgive my attire. But I just felt the need to speak. I recently moved here about a year ago, and I launched my business, Internal Leadership Development Institute. Under that, I just launched a program called Hidden Queens, and that is for BIPOC students, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, but it's inclusive of all students. And I launched that because it deals with healing them from trauma, from the inside out. I did a dissertation and research on that, on a whole leader, and how when kids grow up with trauma, they become toxic leaders. Because I served under so many toxic leaders in Washington State, unfortunately, I was compelled to do research on that and also start a program for our BIPOC girls to teach them that they are queens. But in order to do that, I have to kind of gut them from the inside out and heal them from the inside out so they know who they are, so they grow up with the power and strength to know who they are. And so that's a very small portion of my program. And I do it through love, forgiveness, self-responsibility, and healing. I'm here today because I will be, hopefully real soon, with the Rayner Middle School. They have limited funding, and funding is needed for me to really do the program the way that I want to and the capacity that it needs to be done. And I would like to start with the Auburn School District, go from state to state, and actually go from continent to continent doing this program. My vision is very big, and so I don't know what finances the city does have available. I know the school is very limited, and the school district may be limited. But if there's any way in which the city can help, because I will be employing people from the city, that I can, have fund my program so that it can serve the people that it needs to serve. We know that we have 90% white teachers, 85% of that is white women teachers, and we have a 70% people of color population. So we're not serving the students. They don't see themselves in the teachers, which is problematic. That's why we have some of these problems in the school district. So I would like to implement my program, and I would like the city's support. So if there's any information, any funding that you find available, that you have available at your hands that you could offer me, or any wise advice, I would just really welcome that. Again, my name is Dr. Melissa Commodore, and I can leave my information with whoever you need me to leave it with.
You want to leave it with Sean Campbell, our
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Comstock. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening? We haven't had an audience this large for quite a while. It's very exciting to see everyone. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Final time. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your comments this evening. And we will move on to Council Ad Hoc Committee reports. Council Ad Hoc Committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the City Council, if any. And we will start, we only have one ad hoc committee right now, and that is our Finance Committee, chaired by Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. The Council Ad Hoc Finance Committee, consisting of Councilmember Robert Baggett and myself, reviewed approximately 32 pages of claims vouchers totaling approximately $4.49 million, dated February 6, 2023. The committee also reviewed payroll vouchers for the period covering January 12, 2023 to February 1st, 2023, totaling approximately $3 million. All questions by the committee for the Finance Department were answered to the committee's satisfaction, and upon completion of our review, the committee recommends that Council approve the vouchers.
Are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Is there a motion? Deputy Mayor J-Rosh.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor J-Rosh.
Thank you, Your Honor. The consent agenda for this evening consists of the claims and payroll vouchers as described by Chair Kate Baldwin and recommended by the Finance Committee. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions or comments about the consent agenda? All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Consent agenda passes unanimously. We have no unfinished business this evening. I have not heard of any new business.
Excuse me?
Councilmember Baldwin.
I have new business. So, related to the matter of the benefits and compensation for the mayoral position, as previously tabled by council, I move to form an ad hoc committee to review benefits and leave compensation for the mayoral position. This committee would work with staff to gather both historic and comparative data, evaluate current ordinance, establish appropriate legal span of control, develop options for revising the existing ordinance language, and present our findings back to council in study session when next steps may be taken as determined by council.
City Attorney, City Clerk.
Councilmember Baldwin, can I get you to restate that a little slower?
Certainly. I move to form an ad hoc committee to review benefits and leave compensation for the mayoral position. This committee will work with staff to gather both historic and comparative data, to evaluate current ordinance, to establish appropriate legal span of control, to develop options for revising the existing ordinance language, and to present our findings back to council in study session when next steps may be taken as determined by council.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second? Deputy Mayor J. Rush.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin, would you like to speak to your motion?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. So on this topic, this is one that had surfaced back in December with council, had come up again in January, and we're planning to initially look at this within study session, but there are a number of questions where I believe we would benefit from having the opportunity to work in the ad hoc committee with staff to include Attorney Como, HR Director Martinson, and others as needed to complete the activities as described and be able to share that back in an organized fashion with council to help support forward motion.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. I'd be interested in better understanding how we would select folks for the ad hoc committee.
Okay. Per your council rules of procedure, typically the deputy mayor and or the mayor select members of the ad hoc committee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions or comments? Right, hearing none, all those in favor of selecting an ad hoc committee to review the benefits of the mayor as listed in the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution number 5699, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and administer agreements accepting grants from the Washington State Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration for 6 projects. 1, East Valley Highway widening. 2, R Street Southeast and 21st Street Southeast roundabout. 3, 2023 City Safety Pedestrian Crossing Enhancements. 4, the A Street Loop. 5, C Street Southwest Preservation, West Main Street to GSA Signal. And 6, Lake Taps Parkway, Sumner Taps Highway East Preservation. Is there a motion? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to move adoption of Resolution 5699.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Baggett.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution 5699 accepts grant funding awarded to the city by the Washington State Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration, totaling approximately $6.3 million to support the implementation of 6 different transportation improvement projects throughout the city. I would encourage your support.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5699, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Resolution 5699 passes unanimously. All right, we will move to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed position on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. We will begin with Deputy Mayor Jayraj.
Unfortunately, I don't have a report this evening. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We will then move to Councilmember Malinga.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no reports tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Rakes.
I have no reports tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. As a member of the Pierce County and Tacoma Board of Health, I wanted to let everyone know that, of course, we're a two-county city, and we have several thousand people up in the Pierce County area. And I want to let everyone know that our director of health, the health department for Pierce County and Tacoma, has submitted his intention to retire, and he will be with us until June of this year. But in the meantime, he has agreed to stay on until we find a suitable person to replace him. And I understand it's a nationwide event. Also, just to let everybody know that in the Pierce County area, all of the COVID-19, the flu, and the RSV tallies are a lot lower now than they have been in the past, and we're hoping that we can see a resolution to these maladies very soon. The numbers keep going down, which is a good sign. There are still those over 80 years old that are suffering, that are passing, and those that are probably the most infected by any of those maladies are in the younger age groups. So we're hoping to see a resolution of these situations and maladies in the next few months. Also, they have one reported case of tuberculosis in Pierce County, one case, and they are working with this individual to try to get them services, and unfortunately, she is not cooperating. She is of a different culture, and that may have something to do with it. But our authorities are working with her and her family to try to get her taken care of as far as the health is concerned, and that may involve involuntary, involuntary positioning of the individual into a facility that they can take care of her. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll make it easy. I don't have a report.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
I participated in the Cities and Schools meeting back on January 25th, which was beneficial to learn about what's been happening both with our local schools and Green River College in education, and that's all.
Thank you. All right, just a couple of items. I attended our SCORE board meeting, which we have monthly for the executive committee to go over any issues with contracts or any issues that have arisen with the SCORE jail facility, of which Auburn is a member city. Also go over the statistics for the populations and the average daily populations within the jail from each of the member cities. I would like to share that since the enhanced patrol for our downtown and North Auburn area has been in effect, the average daily population for Auburn has increased. The individuals, if they are allowed to stay for more than a day, are starting to receive the resources that are so desperately needed. We are working with our judges to hopefully allow them to understand what services SCORE has available. It's not just a place to be locked up. It is a place to receive the services for some individuals who truly have hit rock bottom and are looking for a way out. We also had a meeting with the North Auburn businesses who are part of that, the group who had complained about trespassing and additional crime and drug use in their area. That meeting took place on Thursday, January 26th in the council chambers to talk about if they have seen an improvement in crime and drug use in their area. And I do believe that it is working. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach, but having the enhanced patrol in the area does allow for individuals to be offered services. Some have taken them, some have not, but we will continue to work with individuals in our community who are experiencing homelessness, those who have a substance use disorder, and for the individuals who are committing crimes in our community. We want this to be a safe community for everyone, not just some, but for everyone. And so we will continue to strive in that regard. This is legislative season, as you are aware, and we have been working with our legislators to discuss some of the bills that are in effect. There is one right now, there are several that we are looking at. Today was the day for hearings on the Blake decision, which some of you may recognize as the decision that was made by the Washington State Supreme Court approximately 2 years ago that determined that our state drug laws were unconstitutional based on the fact that the word knowingly was not in front of in possession of drugs. So that law was deemed unconstitutional. Therefore, there were truly no drug laws in the state of Washington. The legislature that year decided to put a stopgap measure in place while they did more research that said that it is a misdemeanor to be found with drugs in your possession, but in order to be arrested for possession, there must be at least 2 other documented interactions with an individual where they have been offered services and have declined them before they could be arrested for possession. Now, that would be wonderful if there was a state system in place that allowed for records to be shared. But we do not have that. And so right now, individuals could have 1 or 2 interactions in the city of Auburn, go to Renton, have 1 or 2 interactions there, and go to Kenton, have 1 or 2 interactions there without any meaningful opportunities for an individual to receive services. So there are state law, or there are bills in our legislature right now that are trying to address those concerns. There are some bills that want to completely remove criminalization of any drugs within our state. There are some that would like to make it a gross misdemeanor or misdemeanor, which would bring it to the city courts or the municipal courts as opposed to county courts. That would increase significantly the work for our municipal courts, but it also, at the municipal level, we do not have the resources for drug court, for therapy court, and so there needs to be resources provided to our municipal courts in order to make this meaningful if a law like that does pass. So we are watching that. We are watching pursuit bills. We are looking at the missing middle housing bills. There is a bill that has been dropped by Representative Bateman that would require all cities take any single-family residential zoning and allow for sixplexes on each of those lots, depending upon how close it is in proximity to a major transit stop. What that really does is takes away the authority of a city to do zoning, and it gives it to a transit agency, because there may be transit stops now that are considered major, and so we do the development and allow for sixplexes within a half-mile distance of a major transit stop. And as I read an article this weekend, there could be cuts coming to some of our King County Metro stops. And so then we have development with no transit. And parking requirements we are not allowed to have parking requirements if this bill passes. And so it removes any ability for local jurisdiction to determine how to zone their city. Every city, I believe, and I know Auburn specifically, wants to have affordable housing for every level of income in our community, and we strive for that. In fact, Auburn is one of the most affordable communities that there is. What we are lacking in is the 0 to 30% of area median income housing that is considered very low income, and we're also short on 120% plus of the area median income housing. And so we want to ensure that it is not a one-size-fits-all approach throughout the state, because every community is going to have different needs. And so we will continue to work with our legislators to ensure that it is not a one-size-fits-all approach, that there is still some ability by cities to be able to identify the areas where there should be multifamily, fourplexes and sixplexes in single-family residential neighborhoods. It's already allowed in some of our neighborhoods, so it's not that we are not wanting to have that addressed. It's just the one-size-fits-all approach that we do not support. With that, we have no need for an executive or closed session this evening. We are adjourned.